Monivan Digital, we help businesses navigate the digital landscape. We recognize that it is crazy out there. So many channels, so many platforms, so many things to think about while managing the day-to-day operations of your business. We provide you with actionable solutions to market your business online and achieve your business goals. I did it. Welcome to the top 7 digital marketing trends at 7 p.m. It is Thursday. I am Tamara, founder of Monivan Digital Marketing Solutions, and I am so excited to be here. This is week number 4. Could you imagine that? Week number 4. It's been 4 weeks since we've been talking digital marketing. Since we've been doing the show with these amazing businesses, and I definitely have to give them a shout out. The businesses are Hermine, Oedipal Opus, and Carnival Inn. So we are working with these 3 businesses to help them pull together their digital marketing plan and digital marketing strategies so that they can definitely win this holiday season, right? Get ahead of the game, make sure that they're collecting those email addresses, doing all the things they need to do to achieve their business goals and really, really move the needle for the holiday season. So we're super excited. So this week was all about the digital marketing strategy. And guess who was the expert? Me again. So this is my last week as the expert. I'll just be here hosting going forward because we're going to have a whole host of other experts coming to talk. But this week, what we focused on was really the business plan, right? The digital marketing business plan. And that really comprised of I think I have a slide here for that, right? So let's go for it. So the digital marketing business plan, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you set your goals. Then you need to develop a strategy. And what's a strategy, right? A strategy is your approach. How are you going to approach your digital marketing efforts, right? And of course, the goals need to be SMART goals. So they need to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic and timely. Sometimes that trips me up a little bit, but so make sure your goals are SMART. So you want to say things like, hey, I want to increase revenue by 10% within the next 6 months to a year, right? So that's a goal, right? 6 months or a year. So you really decide that's a SMART goal. Developing a strategy, right? That's your approach. What's going to be my approach to my digital marketing campaign? Where do I want to focus, right? Do I want to position myself as a thought leader in digital marketing? Then what are the things that I need to do? My tactics, right? The things I need to do is more speaking engagements, build a following, really show up as an industry expert. So those would be some of the tactics in order to achieve that goal. The other thing you want to do is you want to track and measure your progress. We can't just do digital marketing activities or marketing activities and not see what's moving the needle, right? If not, I always say you're just having fun, and there's no point to that if you're running a business, right? You really want to make sure that understand how you're moving the needle and tracking and measure. And then test everything. Test all the time. You should be testing in the background. If you have an idea, try a little test, see what happens. I heard someone on the show did some testing this week. I don't know. She might tell us about it. And so that testing can turn into things that you eventually look back and say, hey, I want to roll this into my strategy because I've tested it. The other thing is you want to execute the plan. So many times we pull a plan together and we don't execute the plan because we're focused on other things, right? The busy work, the things that comes up, the fancy Instagrams and the things that, make us that look pretty. But where we need to focus is really those numbers. So the testing and then the execution is critical, making sure that you execute after you test so that you can see, hey, I put this plan in motion, I did the tactics, and here are the results. And the other thing you want to do is you want to revisit your plan regularly, right? You want to go back to that plan. You want to look at it and you want to say, hey, did I move the needle here? Did this work? Am I switching things out? You want to use that like your blueprint. Your digital marketing plan should be the blueprint for your strategy, and you should always go back to it. If you're making changes and updates, that's fine. Make it in the plan and say, hey, here's why I did this. The data pointed me in this direction, and I decided to make this move because the data pointed me in that direction. So it's really being super strategic and intentional about all your digital marketing efforts. So those are our 7 points for this week. I hope that made a lot of sense to you. I think about this stuff all the time, and I want to really make sure that we're able to simplify it so that businesses can understand, right? I say it all the time. There's so much that they need to do. They're running their business, just the day-to-day operations is crazy. So if they have a plan that they can follow and really see that that's moving the needle with revenue, it will make the world of differences. So make sure that you have a strategic digital marketing plan. So anyway, I am ready to bring on our first business. And today we have with us Trudy Ann. So let's add Trudy Ann to the stream. How are you doing today, Trudy?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
It is Thursday, so I love Thursdays. It's so fun doing this show every week and just seeing the progress, seeing how we really are moving the needle. So, it this week was interesting, right? So, what did you think about our strategy session and getting the plan? So let's talk about what that felt like to you this week. Because full disclosure, so I pulled together the strategy, right? I pulled together the plan. And FYI, Trudy, I have some parts that we can share. So, we'll pull it up on the screen. When I did the online assessment, it gave me a lot of information, a lot of detail, and I wanted to give the businesses an opportunity to just kind of sit back and relax, which they didn't, and have a digital marketing plan presented to them that really, honed in on everything we learned in the assessment, everything we talked about in the brand messaging, and giving them something that they could work from. Now, it's just a framework for them so they can build upon it, while my ideas are all amazing. Someone tried some things I said no to this week and it worked. So I love that. We got new data. So, all right, Trudy. So let's talk a little bit about really kind of getting a strategy delivered to you. First and foremost, it's a digital marketing plan and strategy delivered to you. How did that feel?
It was incredible because it was so multifaceted and pulled in, various components of our business and things that we've been doing, and really taking a deep dive. I think, you're intimately familiar with our brand. And so the idea that you can come up with, pieces that pull in my aunt's story and things that we're trying to do to get the message we want to convey, different ways of going about that. It was really incredible to see. I was a little nervous, um, to be honest. When I saw it as well, there were things on there that the areas that I'm not as comfortable with, even though you have a different opinion as how it lands. And so we can talk about that if you like, but it's putting those things down and saying, but the numbers say that although you don't feel comfortable doing that, it's the numbers are showing that people are responding to it. So yeah, I was anxiously awaiting it. Once we got it, it was really, very in depth and took into consideration a lot of different things. So I really am glad that we have it. Thank you.
Awesome. So I definitely want to show some pieces of it. So I know we talked about goals, and you have to really flesh those goals out a bit more to, fine tune to get to your numbers, right? But the goals were along the lines of increasing revenue, increasing your email database, and also really tapping into a B2B market. And so you're going to get to those numbers. I don't know if you have them today. If you want to share the percentages, awesome. If not, no pressure. But we can jump in and talk about the strategy pieces and how we're going to get you to achieve those SMART goals. So this is your strategy, right? And what I did here, as we talked about, can you see it, Trudy?
I can see
Of course,
it.
it's on the screen. So the strategy here was to focus in on the warrior woman, right? So let's talk about that a little bit and, using that as the storytelling element of the brand, right? So you're always telling your aunt's story, which is amazing, but there's so many sides to your aunt, right? So taking the storytelling element and using it to share stories of other warrior women as well as your aunt's stories, which is her stories, HER. What were your thoughts on that?
So that was one of the things that, I've been kind of working through how we want to show up with that. And it's her signature piece. So she has a sculpture that she did that is of a warrior woman, and she embodied that. And so we wanted to figure out how do we incorporate that, since it was so important to her, into this whole plan as we tell her as you said, her story. And so pulling that with some of the things that we talked about, how to execute on that, it was really nice to see it as a real key piece of the plan. So
Right. And I think, giving other women an opportunity to share their stories as well gives you one, user generated content. It makes them feel as though they're a part of it. And it allows you to build that community around storytelling. And that storytelling then leads back to this really intimate box of love, right? So leveraging that strategy to draw people in, I think, is definitely one of the elements that when you really roll that in, it could become something really beautiful. The second one was the B2B strategy, and that's to position the brand as the ultimate gift of love for female leaders to give and receive. And we talked about sales executive and different female leaders. So what were your thoughts on the B2B portion of the strategy? And then, thinking about how you would approach that.
so the last time we spoke, I was telling you that I don't want it to just be we go after any business and I mean, obviously most businesses have women, right? But we don't want to approach it that way. We want to be really intentional about the message. We don't want to lose the message and the reason behind the box just because we move to a B2B strategy, or move or include, not move to. We're staying with our B2C, but adding
Right.
in our B2B. We want that message to be as clear to the recipient on the business side as they are on the consumer side. So, looking at how do we speak to that, the sales executive, for example, to express to them how it'll make them a rock star when the female leader receives this box. And so how do we message for that? But that's again something that, as you were showing in the marketing plan, is how we move towards that.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. So the next thing we talked about was optimization and implementing key recommendations from the assessment. So leveraging that as a strategy. And we talked about the abandoned cart sequence, maybe a free shipping positioning, and then really focusing in on email marketing more. So now, usually in a plan, everyone likes everything new and shiny, right? They're like, wait a second, I'm not doing anything new. But I thought it was important that we take everything, though you've implemented most of it already, from the optimization, from that assessment, and we take that and really roll that into the strategy, because the goal is that later on, optimization really becomes such a core part of your strategy that you're just adding other little elements to it, right? Because you just keep looking to the people that I'm talking to. I keep adding more in, more of them in. But how do I always move the needle and get 1% to convert, 0.5 more people to convert, right? Really kind of getting to those kind of numbers. So optimization is not as sexy as a new shiny, storytelling elements. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's key to tweak things and to go back and look at things, because I think what we do many times is we put something in and then we go on, like you said, to the new shiny thing. We don't go back and see, oh, my image is an old image, or I should, update the language, or, whatever. So we need to go back and look at these things that, yes, they may be in place, but they may not be working, or as you said, they may not be optimized to work as well as they can. And as you mentioned earlier, because we had this conversation before I had the plan, and we can't sit still, we have to do stuff.
Right.
So implemented the free shipping. Then I pulled my warm audience of people who open our emails and sent them, hey, we have free shipping, etc. And we started converting off of these emails. And
So
so
wait. You kind of say it. Let's pull back. I need sound effects. I'm like drum roll. So, based on our conversation after our assessment, you said, "Okay, I'm gonna do something, and tell us what you did, and like let's drag it out." You said it really quick just now. I want you to drag it out.
so I
Okay.
So I remembered that you had said that, just we need to speak to a warm audience. We need to speak to people who have already started moving down the funnel and who are interested in our products. So I went and I looked at the email list of people who open our emails. So I said, let me look at the last 90 days. Who's opened our emails in the last 90 days? So then I said, okay, let me email to just those people who've opened the emails in the last 90 days who have never purchased from us. And then I sent them the information about how we would love for them to try our box. And here, we want to let them know that we're offering free shipping. And then we gave them a promo code that they could use to go ahead and purchase the box at a discount off their first box. And we started converting. And so it was the funniest thing because when at first I'm like, oh, that's it worked.
Oh my God. He's not crazy. It works. Optimization actually works.
Yeah, so I couldn't wait to tell you about
Right.
it was an experiment. So like you said, we have to test. And that was a test and see, how does that work? So I actually modified our welcome flow, so that in addition to doing that with email, I also went and modified our welcome flow. And I know one of the things that's still outstanding is to continue to take a look at our abandoned cart flow as well, and to make sure that that's working the way that it should.
Absolutely. So no, I love that. The fact that you moved the needle and you're already converting more. So we're already on the road to your holiday, your holiday revenue. And it's just August. So let's look at that. So the other thing in the strategy that I really loved, and this is the last one that kind of, was my surprise to you. So merch, right? So create a revenue stream with Warrior Woman postcards, to order, like to be ordered, and just make it all for women. So as I was thinking through things and I was looking at the box that you sent me that I'm still like waiting for the perfect moment to open, but I did open it, there's a card in there, and I was just like, man, it would be interesting. They're already doing a version of cards. So as an additional revenue stream and like, your merchandise, it would be great to have postcards that you give as an add-on sell, right? So this is something you can, upsell to, and then now they're buying two things from you, but you've set it up in a way where you don't print anything until, people say, hey, we want to get this. We're really interested in this. We love the design. Here's the design. And so talk to me about, first of all, the surprise, getting a surprise strategy. And then what were your thoughts on it? And how do you feel like it's something you can evolve for the brand? Or do you think it's something you're like, absolutely not, which is fine too?
I was definitely excited to see that we had bonuses in there, and like you said, a surprise element. As far as whether or not we'll implement it, I'm going to meet with my mom and our advisor, our board member, to talk through it.
You're right. You already know.
To talk through how we want that to be positioned. I definitely think there's some aspects of it that we will implement, and there's some of them that we're holding back. Some things that we have in the works that we're excited to roll out around that whole Warrior Woman concept. And so having that card or some other kind of memento perhaps that we include in that whole thing is definitely something we're looking at doing. So we love the merch idea. We just see what the merch will end up being.
I love that. I'm a fan of that. I'm excited to see what it can be, because I like when the ideas take on a life of their own. So, do what you want with it. So the other thing we did was I pulled together some content pillars for you. So when I think about content pillars, I think about them as categories of content that you can leverage throughout your campaign later on that really still supports the strategies that we put forward, right? So here are the content pillars. So really making women telling stories the heart of the brand message. So that's important because now, storytelling is going to become an important part of this, and focus there. And then content pillars, you have an opportunity to share the vendor stories. I know you shared a really powerful story with me about one of your vendors, and I thought, man, this would be amazing, and I think people would really love that. Stories about your aunt. Then of course art, because that was such a big part of her life. Unboxings, everyone loves those, and of course my favorite content pillar, more Trudy Ann. And then I threw in another surprise because I was inspired by Rachel Spiewak's Video Palooza, and I was like, what about a story extravaganza? So I know Juliana is like, whatever, story extravaganza. So, but I really like the idea of more Trudy Ann in as a part of the content strategy. And I know, so let's talk about some of the content pillars, the art, all that stuff, and let's get to the one that I love the most.
Yeah. So I think, we talked about the stories, and it is very compelling. And ever since we started going down this path, right, I've been a lot more keen to stories that are being told in media. Whether it's a commercial or something around the Olympics, and hearing about the athletes behind the story and so on. And those things I'm finding, even, when I wasn't thinking of it from a digital marketing perspective, it draws you in, right? And it's really connects you to that person, and you look at them as a human being and so on. So as I mentioned a while back, I didn't think that the story would be what brought people to our brand. I thought it was product, right? And even more so the vendors and their kind of contribution to this whole thing, more so than our story, or my aunt's story. And so as we make this kind of shift transition to making it about stories about women in general, and their journeys and so on, I think it's really an opportunity to make those connections. And so that's I'm really excited to see how that's going to come about.
That is so awesome. Love that. So, and so more Trudy Ann, how do you feel about that?
So I left that part alone.
But I'm here to
I
just
know it's still on. It's in
just
writing.
bring that back so that everyone knows I'm paying attention.
So I think, my challenge around it, it does make me uncomfortable, right? Because I think for me, I always wonder, what do I have to say, right? And it's funny when I watch other people and they're showing you their day, and they're going about, getting coffee, and they're by the beach, and they're whatever. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, that's pretty, and so on. But for me, like, I'm not sure what exactly, to talk about. And I think, that's where the marketing plan comes into place, to give some ideas around these are the types of things that you can talk about. I think that's really important. And I know with, like, as you said, with Rachel, and just showing up and going live and just doing it is really key. And you even mentioned that that's one of the things that you do, is just do it, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll have to get over myself as I work through that. When we were, one of the things you said, you noticed that when we were at market, we went to go and for product and meet vendors and so on. And I was filming from there and introducing people I was meeting and so on. You had said that you noticed that our numbers were spiked while I was doing that. And it was easy to do because it was fun. And so, again, to figure out how to get that same type of, energy and, show that part of myself is going to be a little bit of effort, but I know that you will insist that.
I will help you get there. But I think, something like this, right? So talking with vendors, right? doing a simple Zoom, getting on, talking to them, you know what I mean? Having fun with them. What are they doing? Just laughing and talking. Just take that same offline experience and bring it to digital, right? So I think that's the authenticity that people are looking for, right? And I think we came up with, was it natural? Did we say we wanted to stop saying authentic? What was
Yes,
it? We
it
said
was natural, I
it was
believe.
just natural, like, yeah. So that's the natural. And I told you, I know that you add so much to the conversation, because when you say something, it's the time that I definitely feel like, hey, I need to listen. So you definitely add something really important to the conversation. So I definitely think that people want to see and hear more Trudy Ann. So I'm here to support you through that.
Thank
So
you.
the other thing really quickly to run through is some of the tactics we talked about, right? And those are the action plans. What are the things that you're actually going to do? Focus on the B2B audience on LinkedIn. Make sure you have clear call to actions, websites, streamlining things to make sure you have free shipping. So I really try to also pull together um the things that you can actually do, so it's not this thing of like, okay, cool, what do I do next, right? Because many times I think there's a what do I do next situation. So the tactics give you, and they tie back to the strategy as well, which ties back to the goal. So everything really flows into each other. And then what you have with the tactics is, as you start meeting with the other digital marketing experts, you can share this plan with them, and you can say, okay, great, here are some of the things I need to accomplish. They can say, hey, you know what, I really like this, but maybe let's switch this to this. So everything's on the table to be discussed, switched, but you have a base that you're working from now. So what did you think about the tactics and how they played into how they will work for the strategy, and just having that as a part of it?
Well, I think it's really important, right? Because as you know, we have to do stuff, right? We like, thank you for telling me, but what do I do to, what are the actionable
Right.
steps to take out of this lovely conversation? And so having that is really very helpful as we drive, like you said, as we meet with the other experts, but as we impatiently figure out what else can I do? What other levers can I, manipulate so I can see what else will happen as we test. It's really helpful to work from that document. So
Good, good, good. And then really quickly, I just want to jump in and show metrics, because metrics are so important. Really being able to take a look at what's moving the needle, right? So looking at site visits, looking at your emails collected, looking at your open rates, just like you looked at those open rates and determined, hey, these people were opening, but they weren't buying, and then you got them to convert. Looking at post saves, post shares, more follows, and really kind of moving away from just the likes to understand what are people doing when they dig deeper into when you dig deeper into the metrics. And then those DM conversations, what are the conversations you're having now, and how do you move those conversations forward? The time on your website and video views. So those are the metrics that you can kind of now wrap your head around, because it makes sense for every channel, right? So did the metrics scare you, or how do you feel about just having that all together?
So I've been on Google Analytics. I've been on the Google, was it the dashboard? What is it called? The
The
dashboard.
Google Search Console.
Yes, so I've been on that. So, looking at the numbers from a different perspective than I was before, and looking at the data points, the ones that are available through Shopify, since we use Shopify, but in addition to, Google Analytics and the Google console, to see what is happening, and even the open rates, on our email provider, to really start looking at that. And it was funny because I looked at our numbers in Shopify and was just looking at our analytics and realized that we were trending, we were seeing an upward trend, month over month. I know we had a spike in a particular month, but when I looked at it holistically, we were trending, doing a lot better than I even thought, because I wasn't watching it as closely, as and looking at it from the same perspective that you shared. So now that we have these numbers, I think what would be key for me, because I love technology, is to go figure out how can I easily pull these data points together in kind of a consolidated, almost like a dashboard that I can
I
monitor.
got that. I got
Oh,
that
you
for
got
you.
that?
You're going to
Oh,
love this. Oh,
okay.
Google Data Studio. So Google, actually, you could plug all the Google Analytics. Firstly, in Google Analytics, you can create a little dashboard. There's an area for it, but Google Data Studio can pull in all the information. and you can set it up to get whatever you want. You can make it pretty. You could, oh, Google Data Studio, that you will
Okay.
enjoy that because it's
Yeah.
really just a connector and it pulls in the information. So there
Okay,
you
got
go.
it. Okay, check.
Check. No worries. But yeah, I think you will enjoy that because it's something, and you'll start seeing the numbers come together and you can make it pretty. You'll be like, wait, numbers and pretty? What? It's like a win-win
I
situation.
like
So
pretty, I like pretty.
yeah, exactly. So, Trudy Ann, thank you so much. Just spending time with you this week, pulling the strategy together. I mean, I had so much fun doing this because you are one of my favorite brands. I love Hermine. I love everything about it. The story. I mean, it sucks me in all the time. So doing this was really, really awesome. So I'm glad that you enjoyed the plan. I can't wait to see what it evolves to. And you know what I mean? And so, of course, as you start moving the needle, that's what you have to start coming back to share what the experts are telling you, what you're doing, we're going to see all kinds of stuff happen, right? The look and feel, layouts may change. It's going to be exciting. So I can't wait to start seeing all those things. So,
Yes, I'm
all right,
excited too.
next week we will talk to you. I will definitely see you next week. I'll talk to you before that. But thank you so
Yeah.
much, Trudy Ann. Take care. Have a great one.
Bye. You
All
too.
right, bye. All right, so guess who's next? So I think it's the lady in the red. What is going on, lady in the red? How are you doing today? You made it. You're in
I
red.
made it. I made it. We have had some terrible thunderstorms out here in Cleveland, Ohio, and so I still don't have Wi-Fi at home. So I'm in my favorite spot that has Wi-Fi at the library. So
You're stealing library Wi-Fi.
I'm a
That's all
card
right.
holder.
That's all right. That's okay. You're a card holder. That's fine. That's all that matters. So you're not stealing. You've actually paid for it. So let's switch that up.
Exactly.
All
But
right.
the humidity, this ain't gonna last long. So let's go.
So let's go. All right. She said this ain't gonna last. So let's go. All right. You started with a bang. So all right, Chef. This week was strategy, digital marketing plan. What did you think?
I'm ready to go. It's another one of those weeks where you gave me homework and I can't do it because like this is my packing week. So I'm like, and then I kept writing the word optimization down. When I found myself doing something that wasn't packing or that wasn't, I'm like, optimization, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. So
Oh,
I'm ready
look
to
at
go.
that. Look at that. Look at that. All right, cool. So we're going to run through your strategy really quickly, right? So the marshmallow of the month, the 2021 holiday strategy is to really focus on leading with the marshmallow, right? How to eat it, pictures of it, people eating it, marshmallow nostalgia, lead with the marshmallow. And the other thing is to focus on optimization. I put this on everyone's plan, right? Um, so optimization is so key because, why not optimize and move the needle, right? Lower your bounce rate. That's where you need to focus. Focus on Facebook because they love you. Instagram, email marketing focus. And then, of course, you have a B2B strategy as well to position the brand as a gourmet nostalgia item, perfect for the winter time, and positioning yourself as a thought leader. And then, of course, merch, new revenue stream, t-shirts. So that's your strategy that we've talked about. So let's kind of talk through some of the parts. So marshmallow all day, every day, more marshmallow. So that is a strategy. When you hear that, what do you think?
Focusing on, so I like to build s'mores a lot when I'm like doing stuff on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere that I'm at, but I'm not really focusing the marshmallows. So I started taking more photography that's based around the marshmallows itself and having more of that conversation. And then I was dipping the marshmallows this week and I got such a reaction from that too. So and then starting to talk about those recipes and talk about different kinds of marshmallows and answer those different questions. So, and you know what the most hilarious thing is I've been trying to do SEO, focus on the word s'mores, focus on Marshmallow of the Month Club. When I look at the keyword marshmallow, I'm nowhere in there. So I know I need to get to work.
You need to get to work, like, that's a pretty broad keyword, but we really need to, there's some, I think we have an SEO guy for you. Don't worry about it. So, all right. So Ooh, strategy. All right. So let's talk about the optimization pieces, lowering that bounce rate. So
Yeah.
I think you made some changes already to have that happen on the website, right?
I did. I did. So I'm on the Cratejoy marketplace, and when you go directly to my link, you'll see on the right hand side, it'll say, what's your hot beverage preference, right? So it's the Marshmallow of the Month Club. And then, like, one of the first words you see is, what is your hot beverage choice? So I changed that verbiage to, every month, with your marshmallows, you will receive a hot beverage. So trying to make it more relevant of why is this there, so that they have something to read, right? And then the photography is more about the marshmallows. So it's about 8 photos of the marshmallows before you start looking at the box. And then I also talk about gluten-free cookies. So I changed that, instead of just saying cookies, gluten-free, not gluten-free. I gave it more of an explanation of, every month with the marshmallows, you get cookies. Would you like gluten-free or not gluten-free? So it hasn't been quiet this month since I've made those changes. So there's been a little bit of an uptick.
I'm
It's always
sorry. I'm sorry. Let's 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 say that again, because I felt like Trudy did the same thing. So hold on. We did an optimization plan and
yes.
you implemented, and let me give the drum roll. Yeah. Sound effects guy is he's so fired. So you're saying that what I said worked?
So I still want to go in and look at my bounce rate, but it's been daily sales. So I've had daily sales, but I do want to go and see what that bounce rate looks like.
Oh, so you're not saying what I said, what I did work until we look at the bounce rate.
What?
The sales are not enough. The money in the
Well,
bank
that's how
is
you
not enough.
validate. That's how you validate a product, right? I used to tell people, oh, you want to do market research, but the money validates, like, your product and your idea, right? So so I implemented what Professor Mon Louis told me to do, and yeah, so there's daily sales, and I'm hoping it's due to that, and yeah, so.
I'm not hoping it's due to that. I know what I'm doing.
Ain't nobody trying to play you.
I know. I'm like, what's happening here? I'm like, you got daily sales, homie. To the gods. Come on, let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Too much fun. And then so let's talk a little bit about thought leadership, right? So that's a
Yes.
strategy for you. And what we talked about in that is really looking at focusing in on the small business, the small business person that you are, the small business that you're running, and telling more stories around that, right? So what are your thoughts on that, and how do you feel about making that? Because when we talked, I got that from you. You said that that's something that you're interested in, and I'm like, well, wait, it's a great opportunity for you to really step in and start doing that.
For sure. I'm someone within our community that likes to share a lot, and I share for free. And, it's always free 99 when you ask me, and I'm happy to help anybody, because we all can eat out here, and I just want to see everybody else shine. But I notice people are in different stages when they're putting their subscription box together. And there's a lot of courses out there. So I really wanted to develop a course that takes you through, like, every step of building your subscription box. And then I realized I need to speak to what I genuinely do best. And
Right.
that's how to how to take your home baked goods and make that into a subscription box. So that's really the niche that I'm working on and focusing on, being able to help people with, taking their home-based products, especially in this day and age where we don't know, like, where are we going to be in a year or two with our businesses. But I think 49 states allow you to have, like, there's cottage law, so you can basically bake from home and sell it. But you can't cross state lines. But, knowing everything that you've taught me, there's a way to focus on your particular state, right? So I'm really just trying to help people who want a food-based business from home as a subscription box. So that's what I've niched it down to, and that's what I'm working on next as a thought leader in our community.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Jamie is saying, Saida, yay, gotta love the upticks. And Tamara, you are so fun. Come on, Jamie, you know that. Thank you. Michelle is like, Saida is dipping marshmallows and optimizing at the same time. Hashtag multitasking and increasing revenue. Let's get that in there, okay? Hashtag professor, right? I just got me. I feel like I just got my doctorate on this show. I was just like, where's the cap and gown? Somebody, somebody cap and gown me. Oh, so all right. So let's go back. Let's go back and talk a little bit more about this plan here. And let's jump in and talk a little bit about the content pillars, right? So
Mhm.
key messaging is really to focus in on when you just need a moment, and ideas for content pillars, right? So marshmallow all day anyway. I thought that was funny. You can have that. And then more chef in these digital streets, because just like Trudy Ann, I believe that you guys are rock stars and should be out there telling all the jokes that you're telling, and just be out there doing lives, really engaging more with folks. And then that small business life that we talked about. So leveraging those as content pillars to support your digital marketing efforts. Have you had content pillars before? And if you have, amazing. And then taking a look at these content pillars to see how they fit into what you're trying to accomplish. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this is going to be my third round of content pillars. So I started off with content pillars that were really just these 9 content pillars about the box specifically. And so every month I was talking about these 9 individual parts of the box. So that was content pillar when I didn't have a true understanding of what it meant. So then the cookie cutter digital marketing came in and said to choose these words that really describe what you're trying to convey or the emotion. So I had these 4 content pillars that were around craft, because I'm really big on my artisan and my craft. And there's actually like an arts and crafts aspect of the business that I had to walk away from, because as I'm scaling, it didn't really scale with the business. And then I also had joy. So that was one of my keywords. I wanted to do things that were joyful. What was the other one? The other one was wonderful. So that was something that I wanted to do. And I honestly can't remember. Oh, I think the 4th one might have been love, but within there. So those were like my 4 content pillars, right? And I didn't post anything. Like
Right? I'm like, they're so random. I'm just like, joy. I mean, like, I'm sitting here like, are these what? Gotcha. Cookie cutter, right?
Yeah, the cookie cutter, right? So I'm like, yeah, every day I'm gonna post something about joy or da-da-da. And it never happened. I never posted anything. So
Right.
now with these content pillars, like I instantly resonated with like,
Right.
I can I can
Yeah.
share my small business life. Like today, I went without Wi-Fi today. And so what's a day in the life of an entrepreneur with no Wi-Fi? Nothing's getting shipped, no emails coming in. It's just like, thank God I have an antenna. I got to watch a little bit of TV, but
You're like,
yes,
what?
I have a digital antenna.
You too. Oh
I'm
my
that
God.
guy.
Yeah. See,
But
this is yeah.
But or even when I go to the post office at 7:57 and the post office closes at 8 o'clock, just showing those small business things and the relationships that I built. So this month I have 3 vendors that I worked really close with. So just showing that aspect of it. And interesting enough, within my following on Instagram and Facebook, I have other business owners.
Mm-hmm.
And those other business owners have actually bought from me as well. So I kind of look at it like, because I'm always like giving things out for free and that information out for free, they're looking for a way to compensate me. And sometimes they won't even tell me. Sometimes I'll just see their name pop up on my roster, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I just really take it as like a compliment that I appreciate you and all that you're doing in our community, and they support as well. So.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. So I'm glad that you love these content pillars and that they work for you and that they resonate with you. There goes that resonate word again.
We'll find a new word.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. You say that. It makes me
It
feel
filled
good.
me with the Holy Spirit. How about that?
Right. You know what I mean? I felt like you were praise dancing when you got these content pillars.
Exactly. They were
Right.
really good. I really appreciated them. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that it's really about you, right? And so you can't have content pillars, that joy content pillar is you laughing, right? So that's where you kind of have to make it about you. People want to hear more about you. They want to know you. You know what I mean? I feel like you're a little like influencer potential in our hand over here, could really build a crowd. So I'm excited to see you in the digital streets doing that, right? But connecting with people, so the people that are buying from you, that you're working with, get on lives with them,
Hmm.
you guys are showing up on Clubhouse and doing different things, but really pushing the envelope and pushing the needle a little bit more to show up in more places so that more people, newer people who are your target audience, can find you and hear from you and see you. And as you're doing that, more sales will come in. So just think about that. You've made some minor shifts and changes, and
Hmm.
every day you're already getting new sales. Okay. So, first of all, let me put up my sign that says marketing in motion. And, you know, I'm feeling good about that. I'm feeling
You
good that,
should
right?
pop your
I'm
collar.
like, was. So you're actually on your way to achieving your goals right now if
Yes.
sales have increased. So just imagine, just the optimization has gotten you to that place, minor. So minor tweaks. So if we continue to focus on optimizing, by the holiday season, you may not have to do the splat out. You may be like, oh, yeah. And so,
Yeah.
you know,
I think I'm looking forward to that. When we talked about that, I mean, I just felt, I don't know. I just felt so uplifted from that conversation, to be honest with you, because last year holiday season, I was in October, I was in November, Black Friday, like trying to create like these posts that were selling something, and I mean, my sales were good, but it was a lot of stress, and it was a lot of like pick me, in a sea of all of these different subscription boxes, because even though I may be a food subscription box, you're still competing with everyone else who's trying to sell something as a gift, right? So in the community, I'm just like, I just really felt like I was scrambling for an audience. But after talking to you, I felt like I can start now. And that's always been a thing as an entrepreneur. I just never really understood, like, when do you get started for the holidays? And so it was a month ago, and then what you do this holiday season transfers to next holiday season, and then you have content that's already ready, so that in July of next year you're just reposting, tweaking. So I really felt good about that conversation, that, because I think I said to you, well, when do we get to the holiday campaign? And so,
I was like,
but
you
I
might
feel
never get
really
to it.
good that it's
Yeah.
it's building on top of itself every month. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Right. I'm like,
exactly. So I really
suppose you
feel
never get
I'm
to it.
excited
Yeah.
to see that it builds.
Yeah. So it's going to build.
Right.
And the email
That's
focus is
awesome.
going to be the thing that helps it build, right? Because now you're going to start collecting more email addresses, really focus in on the database and start those conversations. So when you start having the conversation, you send an email to say, hey, it's holiday season, right? And that's where you find
Yes.
yourself sending that message. And it's less of what's going on the social media. Yeah, you can celebrate it and all that, but it'd be amazing to be sold out through email only by building your database now and
Absolutely.
optimization.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I wish for. And we will keep track of the sales. So definitely keep track to see what that uptick looks like. And I want to hear more about it because, again, that could be the winner. So Saida, YouTube August post has so much fun. She's hilarious. Michelle. All right. Well, Chef, it was great, great talking to you. I know you have all your tactics that you need to do and get that stuff done too. The metrics are the same. You must look at the metrics, right? So it's all
Yes.
about email for you. We're going to go into Pinterest. The metrics are important. It's the same metrics that Trudy Ann has. The metrics are the same. I think they are because email is the focus. It's about email. It's about the time on your website, that bounce rate increase, taking that bounce rate down, really getting people to connect with you more, and then just be able to understand what that engagement feels like. Less likes and follows, but more so, how are they saving my post? What do they do when I post this? Do they make a purchase? And starting to move the needle. And we even talked a little bit about some story ads on Instagram, which you kind of liked the idea of that. So
I did. I
Yeah.
did. I mean, even though you dissed me with my 10,000 reels view, you're like, so did you get a sale from it?
Yeah, right. But if not, I'm like, did you get a sale? Did you get an email? Did you get a, you know what I mean? Like, but what did it do? Did you get a follow? Because now, we can track that person, I'm like, let's
Right.
stalk them, right? What does the reels do? Because we want to know what it does, So, but I still think it's
Absolutely.
great to get that visibility. So I love it. I'm here for it. And the fact that you're doing it is amazing. So, Chef, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
from the
you.
library. No Wi-Fi. I hope things get better. I hope the storm is past now.
It has. It has. Yeah. Yeah. 2
Okay.
days worth. Trees are down everywhere, but storm's
Oh my
over.
God. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us and thank you for taking the extra effort. I love that. That to me is marketing in
Thank
motion
you.
and it shows a lot of, like you came outside in the storm. I'm here for it, That's our small
Thank
business
you so
life.
much, Tamara. Yeah,
All
that
right.
exactly.
Chef, thanks so much. Take care. Have a great one. We'll talk
You
next week.
too.
We'll talk before that, of course, but so oh my goodness. So Chef Trudy Ann, all increasing a revenue, and all we've done so far is help them to optimize, to focus in on optimization, and they're moving the needle, right? So this is supposed to be for the holiday season, and they're already making bank, right? They're implementing. So we pulled a plan together. Now we're working on the implementation pieces of the optimization plan. So I don't know that they're going to have to run Christmas campaigns. I bet that they will be sold out for the holiday season by October. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. So, all right. So, next, we're going to talk to Casper from Carnival Inn because everybody got a digital marketing plan this week. So, super, super excited to bring Casper to Hey, Casper, how are you? How's it going? Or you're muted. Unmute.
There we go.
There we go. What is going on? How are you?
I am good. Happy to be back home.
You're back home. All right, cool. How did the rest of the trip go? We saw some stuff. What's going on, you guys? That looked so exciting, man. The pool, everything was just like, man, this is perfect. This is gonna be good. You're getting people excited.
Oh my gosh, the feedback from that, and being there and experiencing it a second time, and everything was great. I really had a good time, minus the exhaustion part of it. So.
Right. You were a little tired, but that's all right. You know what I mean? I think we love seeing you guys in that motion, making it happen. And, so it's becoming real. So we love seeing that. So this week we went through and we did strategy, right? So how did you guys feel about that? We kind of talked through some key things. We wanted to position Carnival in as an alternative to Trinidad Carnival with comparisons. We wanted to really identify and explore 2 new markets to expand and build awareness, right? So I see you guys made some updates here, which is cool. Professionals, young music festival goers, and position you guys as the premier event gurus or thought leaders that can add that touch of carnival magic, right? So premier international event architects. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about those strategies. And I mean, somebody went in and added some extra words.
We had a meeting, so we all got together and shared our thoughts and ideas on like the positioning and the other things that we spoke about, and everything just came together where it's everything we thought about, but we never really put it down and saw it. Like from the time you see it, it's like a vision board. You see it, and then it's like, that's what we were trying to tell each other, So
right.
It was really helpful, and it put us in a place where we have a clear line of thought and we know what our goals are.
So so for me, I'm gonna pull this back up because this is like the extra stuff that y'all have already done with the document. To me is like mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's where we started, but then we realized, wait,
yeah. So you guys, I mean, I gave you guys the bare bones and you already taking and fleshing it out. So I really love that. Seeing that moving forward already is amazing, and I think really smart. So that strategy piece. So we talked about positioning you as the alternative to Trinidad Carnival. So let's talk about that. That's pretty ballsy, pretty gangster.
Yeah, well, this started as just that. It started as an alternative because COVID, Carnival was canceled. We're going on 2 years of no carnival, and we never really wanted to directly compete with carnival because carnival is a thing of its own. It's an experience of its own. But it's more so to, since it's missing, it's not there anymore. It's like, okay, how do we create this for people that need to escape? Like what is
Sure.
the alternative? What's the options? Usually there's something like with food, what is the substitute?
Right.
So
Right.
Carnival Inn became that alternative for those people who wanted that experience, who were at home suffering from a year of tabanca.
Woo.
It's
And it's a
like
bank. It's a bank. Oh my God.
we wanted, like I wanted to run out, jump out, as we say. Peter wanted to jump out. The entire team wanted to do something. We're all craving it, and it's like, okay, let's do this. We have
Right.
to do this.
No, that makes sense. And so when we talked about the comparison, we went as basic as the whatchamacallit, we talked about software when you buy software online. So if you've ever purchased software online and you go to a website and you see those comparisons, right? So it's like this does this, this one does this, and the check marks, right? So just almost doing that carnival to carnival into carnival comparison and setting it up for, we got this, all inclusive check, and the areas where you're winning, carnival in check, carnival in Trinidad, no check, there's no carnival, right? So it's an opportunity to really leverage some of those marketing strategies that we see online as a part of this in a fun way, no?
Correct. Like how do we improve on our carnival experience? We're all veterans of carnival. We know the ins and outs of it. We know how to navigate carnival. Now, how do we bring everything that we've learned and we've experienced to make it what people want? One thing we know you definitely don't want for carnival is headaches. You want to feel like you're at ease. You want to just enjoy the time and your experience there. So it's like, how do we do that? Because that's missing from carnival. There's no architects of it. It's, so much going on. It's like, where do I go next? We have it all pretty much outlined for you.
Right.
Hotel, check.
Right.
Food, you don't have to worry about where you're going to eat. Check.
Right.
You don't have to worry about transportation. So everything is pretty much taken care of,
I love that. I love that. So let's talk a little bit. So now that we have those strategies and the positioning, so positioning yourselves as the carnival architects, right? So before we jump into the content pillars, we talked about that a little bit. And I threw out LinkedIn as a place that you guys should start to frequent because not a lot of people are talking about events there. And LinkedIn is a space where there are a lot of professionals that that work and may actually be your ideal target audience, right? The Caribbean diaspora, festival goers. So when you heard LinkedIn, were you like, what is she talking about?
I'm intimidated by LinkedIn because I've always looked at it as a resource for jobs, like an outlet for jobs. I never looked at it as an outlet where, people would actually be interested in the Carnival Inn experience. And as we spoke about it more, it is a network of professionals. Like I'm part of LinkedIn, but I've never used it because there's nothing engaging there for me.
Right.
So being that we can add that level of engagement where we could introduce people to Carnival, and especially working professionals who also need, that escape from 9 to 5 and the monotony of the office. I'm happy I get the option of working at home sometimes, but there's some people like, even the confines of your home, you still need to get away because it's still 9 to 5,
Right.
Everyone needs an escape. So having that opportunity to share what we can give to these people via LinkedIn, who need an escape from their 9 to 5 monotonous job.
So I love that. So content pillars. So this one is really so fun, right? So the content pillars here, aspirational content, we take care of everything content, the nostalgia, the proper language when communicating with your audience. So talk about those as content pillars and now having that framework for your content strategy and things that you're going to post.
Yeah, so each one has, like, to me, it's like, I'll touch on, let's say, the nostalgia aspect of it, where we know who we're going to communicate with. We know it's either going to be other carnival enthusiasts who are looking for that rush, that fix, that quick fix of a carnival experience. We have to use the proper imagery and videos and the proper language when we're speaking to those people, so we can pull those people out. We want to target nostalgia this week, or we want to target nostalgia going forward. Target those people. For the aspirational people, let's say there's people who feel like, I would like to go to Punta Cana. Those are the travelers, the people who I've never had an opportunity to do this. Some people are fearful. I don't want to travel alone. What am I going to do? We haven't
Right.
figured out. So we could communicate with them. Hey, here we have a package here for you where you can travel. Everything is taken care of. You get a bit of party. You get a bit of relaxation, and you get a bit of the culture.
Right.
So it's knowing how to push forward those imagery, to drive, to evoke that feeling, like of nostalgia, or that aspirational feeling where you want to do it, but you're kind of fearful, you're unsure. But we have to make them comfortable with with making that choice, so building that interest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that you guys are making it happen out here. And even the content pillars, you guys have fleshed out a little bit more. And this week, we talked a lot about, we talked about costumes. So talk about that piece, because that was game changing for me when I heard the idea of adding costumes to this experience.
Yeah, so that is something that we're currently working on. And it just adds to the, I hate to use this word, the carnival-esque-ness of the experience, because some people, we typically do an event called Relive, where you get to relive your experience on the road for Carnival Monday and Tuesday. Wear your costume. Not everyone would have a costume, so we're like, you know what? Let's make that available to them, so that they don't feel left out. You have the option of either bringing your costume, or we'll provide one to you. So we're in talks now with a few costume designers. We'll be sharing that on the live, hopefully in the near future, so people can see what we're doing.
Awesome. So Chef is asking, but can I get a costume and be a part of the parade? Absolutely. That's what this is for. You can absolutely be a part of the parade. Michelle is saying, I hear Casper speaking on the right buying personas. So, she loves that. So you guys are, I think, really, I love how you guys are evolving this and really making it a carnival experience, and that carnival in a capsule. The more I hear about it, the more I get excited, because I'm like, man, that is the fix, right? That is the thing that we all need, that little fix. And then, so again, the channels and tactics. So we talked about, LinkedIn, the Caribbean diaspora, carnival lovers, festival lovers. And then some of the things you guys are working on right now is designing and launching your new website, and focus on building your email list and setting up analytics for tracking. So talk a little bit about seeing how the plan now works together. So you understand the goals, you have the strategy, you have the content pillars that support that strategy, and then you have the tactics. So it's all this, you now see the Bible, right, that we've created for you, that you can move forward with.
Pretty much like the funnel. Everything is just going in, and revenue comes out, and
right. Because now everything you do is going to be super intentional about that revenue coming in, right?
Exactly. Like, that's the end goal, but we have other smaller goals to accomplish, as far as as you mentioned, building our email list, expanding our footprint, or our engagement, to get more people engaged with what we do and more people familiar with what we do. So there's a lot of smaller goals that we have to accomplish to get there, but we're working on them.
Yep. So look, love the idea of a costume, or even just a headpiece. Okay. See, I'm sold. If you have content showing regular round girls like me getting the costume experience, I'm in. They are here for it. Anybody can get a costume.
I might be with a backpack on, a little tiara.
So let me.
The costume.
So let me give you a little tip that I heard today, because of course, I also do a daily digital marketing show called The Top 7 at 7 on Clubhouse every day at 7 a.m. in the morning, where we bring on subject matter experts. And today, Jamila brought on a journalist. So this journalist was from Barbados, and what she was saying is that they cover things. So they cover events, they like stories, and they are willing to do that, right? So so you can, if you're looking to move into a Bayesian market, for instance, connecting with a journalist to let them know something like this is happening and giving them the story, they will say, hey, yeah, we'll cover from beginning to end. They may like to do pieces on it. So it's a great way to connect with journalists. Another thing you can use LinkedIn for, because she kind of said they're sitting out there and they want content, and this is stuff that they do all the time. So she gave an example of her name was Crystal Bowen. Shout out to Crystal. I have to reach out to her because I'm going to have her start covering this show. She said she did an article, and she does articles on, they do articles on people in Barbados, people outside of Barbados. So she did an article that, got a lot of visibility, and she did, I think it was on somebody in Japan, and the Japanese embassy brought her to in Barbados, brought her to there, and they treated her amazing, and it was all good stuff. But the person got a lot of visibility for their right target audience. So connecting with journalists, because they're also looking for content as well. So that's my tip for tapping into new markets for you. And, we'll pull, that's how I think we could, look at that. So what does that look like? Where are these journalists building those relationships? And I'm sure you guys already know some. So let's see how we can make that work, right?
Definitely something worth leveraging, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I heard that today, my mind was racing, and I'm like, I think this is a great way. I thought about you guys, and I'm like, I gotta tell them that is a great way for them to start getting into new markets, reaching out to those local journalists and saying, hey, could you, feature us here, there, the other? We want to cover this. And you have such a story to tell as you move through the entire Carnival in process that they can cover it from the beginning all the way to the end, right? So food for thought. So there we go. This is I have to put this banner up. So that's what you call marketing in motion. I just gave you a new tactic that you need to add to the strategy or to the plan, right? So let's make it happen. So, and of course we have all the metrics, right? So now that you understand all the things that you need to look at, the metrics you need to look at that showcase, because the metrics are going to lead you to the dollars, right? Your email addresses, collecting those email addresses, understanding when you have the website, the visits, how many people are coming to the website, when they come to the website, what happens, do they buy, do they spend, how much time are they spending on site? Now that you have those clear metrics to look at, does that make sense for you now? And are you now going to be able to say, hey, you know what, this is what we're looking at, because that's the funnel right there, right? It's the top all the way down to the sale.
Right. It's like, it's like making sure we don't leave food on the table, so to speak.
There you
just
go.
Up every crumb, like,
there you go.
Just looking at all the information and analyzing it in a way that is helpful to the goals, as far as like the website analytics, looking at social media, and us going live from and sharing, parts of our experience in Cancun when we were doing the site visits. We saw, the change in people's reactions and, the increased DMs and messages that we were getting. It's like,
well, wait, what messages are you getting? Hold on, what are people saying? Because I need a third win, because what are they saying in those DMs?
They want to be there. Like, oh, we want to be there. When is this? We did a post as far as telling people, hey, should we choose this venue? And it's like my first time, yes or no, and 100% was yes, choose this venue. So it's like our hands are tied now. We have to choose this venue because the people asked for it. So,
right.
Just getting that interaction and, being able to communicate with the people directly that are interested. And, those are people we're going to follow up with later on. And hopefully they stay engaged. So we have to figure out now, how do we keep these people engaged? They love the live content. They love when we share these things. So we have to keep doing it. And
absolutely. Yeah. So I feel like that's my third win for the day. So, right, sales have increased. And now I'm hearing you're seeing that engagement. You're getting those DMs and you're getting those leads, right? Because that's what we're hearing. People are saying, when is this happening? I want to be there.
Right. So what was happening the day that we were there? They were like, wait, there's going to be a party today. I was like, no, it's in December.
Right. Got you. But those DM conversations are great conversations because they convert to something and then get them to those emails, right? So You guys are making me super happy. This week was like a win-win. Everyone had like a win, you know. So I'm glad that you're actually seeing the needle move with these little changes so far. So just imagine when the full plan is implemented, what can happen.
And you make it very easy. You know, it's like these
Oh,
bite-sized pieces where like it's like it's different between thinking about it and actually seeing it and doing it and then seeing the effects of it, um,
right.
and you help make that it's so easy for us. It's all that it takes really is discipline. If you
Right.
have discipline, you can accomplish it, and
Oh my God, I feel like that's awesome. No, Casper, that is so awesome. I give thanks for you saying that. This is truly like this digital marketing. I mean, this is my passion, and this is where I understand how businesses can move the needle with optimization and not always doing the fancy thing, right? And it can really add where, as you said, like getting everything off the plate because you're leaving money on the plate when you're not connecting with your audience, right? And I think this is where you see the difference. And we talked about this a little bit different. And, I'm going to throw some shade out there, for all the other carnival promoters not in the building, right, that have become stagnant in a market that's so important for them not to be stagnant. And so I throw the gauntlet down. I challenge them to step up and not just do the norm, step outside of the box. And that's what I think Carnival Inn is doing, really looking at digital marketing as a way forward. You don't have to throw no shade. I know you got to remain neutral, but it's all good.
So I can't.
It's all good. But we're here to help you reach your goals.
Hey, you.
A little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
We should have a digital marketing graduation party with Carnival Inn. Absolutely. No, Casper, this was awesome. Thank you so much. I am glad that this is moving the needle. I am glad that it is really being easy for you guys, getting this information. And I'm glad that you guys have the digital marketing plan are doing the work. We're seeing the work happen, and it's really good to see. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you so much for joining. All right. Tell Peter and Carver I say, what up? All right.
Soon, then he's probably watching on YouTube. So
gotcha. All right. No worries. Well, we will talk next week. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye. Don't say that, Trudy Ann. Stop it. Tamara is the boss. Oh, I love all of that stuff. Don't get into my head. So we made it to the end of another show. And it has been a great show because from this, what I'm hearing is that the businesses are moving the needle. This is week number 4. We've seen increase in sales. We've seen an increase in engagement. We're getting leads for Carnival Inn already. And so the businesses, this is moving the needle. And all we've done is optimization thus far, just optimization. So really quickly, I'm going to run you through the 7 things you need to do for your digital marketing plan. Set SMART goals. I want to increase revenue by 10% in the next 6 months. Develop a strategy. It's your approach. Identify your tactics. What are the things that you're going to do to really get that strategy and to achieve those goals? Track and measure your progress. Make sure you're tracking everything. Look at it. Everything you look at moves the needle to revenue. Test everything. Execute the plan. Don't just plan it. Execute the plan and revisit the plan regularly. Regularly. Go back. It is your Bible. Excuse me. I am so excited to have done this today. I think I'm a little bit choked up just because seeing those businesses be able to move the needle so quickly is just simply amazing to me. So I don't know that I have too much more to say. They said it all. Digital marketing works. We know what we're doing here at Monivan Digital by helping businesses achieve their business goals through digital marketing. I'm Tamara Louis. I'll definitely be here next week. We'll have another amazing subject matter expert in to help these businesses implement those tactics across those channels and platforms. So I hope you join us next week. And if you did not get to watch this live and you're watching it on the replay, you know what we're doing here at Monivan Digital.